Welcome to EPL Insights for Game Week 36. Gareth Wheeler, Jake Osgathorpe with you. Thanks for all the kind comments. Missing the podcast. We miss it too. And fingers crossed it comes back very, very soon for all of us to stay involved and engaged. But for the time being, we dig in right here, right now, 10 minutes of prognostication and prediction when it comes to the Premier League. Big games across the board this week, Jake. Significant matches at the top. It's a two-horse race between Arsenal and Man City for the Premier League title. We'll get to the bottom of the table as well, but let's start right up at the top. Arsenal and Man City, both with home games this weekend, both are significant favorites. Arsenal on the handicap, a 2-goal favorite, says the market, over Bournemouth, who have been on a very good run of their own. Man City, 2.5 goal line against Wolves at the Etihad this weekend. What do you make of these lines? I can't. Obviously, these two sides are going to be favored to win, but at these numbers, I don't know if you can justify it.
No, I don't think you can either. You're taking a huge risk, aren't you, that Arsenal turn up and hammer, like you said, a really formed team in Bournemouth, and likewise Wolves. They've not got much to play for really, Wolves, but you just know that you've got a couple of players back fit up front. Got a couple of good results against City recently. Every chance that they can keep that closer than the 2.5 goal line would suggest. I have a bet for both of these games, and it's the same bet. It's both teams to score in both of those games. Arsenal match, you're getting -112, which I think looks very generous, given they're playing a Bournemouth team who are shown plenty going forward all season. Never mind just recently, but they've scored in all bar one of their 17 away league games this season at Bournemouth, which is a pretty good record. As for Arsenal, I think they showed quite a few nerves, didn't they, in the second half against Spurs? Had the game pretty much wrapped up at half time, and then came very jittery towards the end. And I think that just highlights that there are some defensive frailties there, and the closer the closer they get to a title, things could get a little bit shaky. So I expect Bournemouth to get a couple of chances. Both teams score landed in 9 of 17 Arsenal home matches this season. They've conceded in 11 of those. So they're not exactly keeping clean sheets at a ridiculous rate. As for City, as I said, same bet. Landed in 11 of City's 17 home games this season. And let's be honest, they were really poor against Forest. They conceded over 2 expected goals in that match to a team that are fighting for their lives at the other end of the table, and managed to squeeze out a 2-0 win. So if they defend in the same manner, Wolves with Cunha and Hwang should be able to at least get on the score sheet. And that's a big number. It's a +132. And for me, it's just a price play. It's just too big of a price given the fact that Wolves have their attacking players back fit and City can't keep clean sheets very regularly.
I'll be quick. I'm going on the underdog with the handicap in both games. Bournemouth +2. Why not? Bournemouth have the 4th best away expected goals in the Premier League this season, and according to Understat, the 5th best in terms of expected points. If you can defend set pieces against Arsenal, you're going to be okay. I feel that when Bournemouth gets opened up, it's because you just get pressing a little bit too high and things get manic and crazy and a little bit loose defensively. But I think they can defend set pieces. That's Arsenal's secret sauce. It's their secret weapon. And as for Wolves, they've already beat Man City this year. They beat them 2-1. And I think they're a very competitive team. They could lose by 2 goals and you win your bet at -101, basically even money. Wolves +2.5, Bournemouth +2 at even money. Let's lock both of those plays in.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
I had the same bet down as you initially for Bournemouth +2. And then I looked at their results against the guys at the top of the table, and I immediately was put off. Don't know what it is, whether it's the style, the fact that they do press high and they do jump, that the better teams can pick them apart. But yeah, Spurs beat them by 2 goals on both occasions. Obviously, that will be a push here, which would be fine. Aston Villa beat them by 2 goals. Liverpool beat them by 4 and 2. City beat them by 5 and 1, so that would have been a winner. And then Arsenal in the reverse beat them by 4. So that was the only thing that put me off, and I pivoted to the.
And a lot of those losses, big losses, came early in the season. Like their most recent one, I believe, was the 1-0 loss to Man City, where they were very competitive in that game. I think Bournemouth, the second half of the season, has been a lot different than Bournemouth out of the gates. You mentioned Spurs, goals aplenty in their games. They go to Anfield this weekend as Liverpool looks to bounce back, but who knows what the nature, what the atmosphere in that camp is like right now. I just want to focus on the goal total. It's set at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in this game. What do you make of that number? Seems outrageous, doesn't it? Or are these two teams, the way they play, the chances they give up, is that well warranted?
No, it's too high. It's way too high. I had to double check that I clicked on the right sport in Pinnacle. I thought it was on American football for a second. But yeah, the line at 4 is just. I'm happy to oppose it. We're getting minus 118 for the under. I personally would have made this maybe 3.5 as the line as opposed to 4. You look at the way in which both teams have gone in terms of their goals, the goals in their matches this season. At home, Liverpool's games 3.4. Away, Spurs' games have averaged 3.7, so slightly up. But I did do a bit of digging into this, and if you'd have backed the under 4 goal line in every single Liverpool home game, obviously you're going to get some seriously shorter prices for that against some of the better teams. But you would have won 9 times, had a push 3 times, and lost only 5. So you'd be in hefty profit. As for Spurs, if you'd backed it in every away game, you'd have won 7 times, pushed 6, and only lost 3 times. So again, you'd have been in hefty profit. So for me, this line is way too high, and I'm more than happy to take the under. Because at the end of the day, if it finishes 3-1, we get our money back. And, you know, I definitely could see. I think this is a bit of an overreaction, personally, to what we're seeing and how these kind of games have gone. But yeah, it's just too big of a line.
We should also mention they played to the controversial 2-1 victory Spurs over Liverpool last time with the 2 sendings off. And should we appeal in this? All that nonsense played out, but still it was under 4 goals. That's the most important part of that equation. Monday Night Football, 2 more watchable teams for very different reasons. Crystal Palace is playing really good football under Oliver Glasner now, and Manchester United, for a neutral, the best team to watch because chances are plenty and you don't know how things are going to play out. What do you make of this game that's going to be played Monday at Sellers Park?
More of the same, yeah. United have chaos over control, aren't they, at the moment? And I think Palace are a team that can definitely get involved in that kind of game. I'm taking the over here. 3 is where the line's set. Minus 114 looks a very backable price. Palace have got so many attacking weapons that can hurt Manchester United. And let's be honest, it's a very leaky Man United backline, isn't it? They concede loads of shots, loads of chances, and loads of goals. So, yeah, I could see this being a game in which both teams contribute maybe twice to the scoring. Could see something similar to recent weeks where you're getting the 3-2 thrillers.
Yeah, I'm backing the over as well. The exact same play. Manchester United have gone over, I believe, 6 in their last 7. Both teams have scored 8 of 8. They can't keep clean sheets. Palace already beat them this year. I think fireworks, expect the unexpected when it comes to Manchester United and their football. But yes, the only guarantee is goals. Let's go to the bottom of the table really quickly. Friday Night Football. Is this Luton Town's last stand as they take on Everton, who's all of a sudden won 3 in a row at Kenilworth Road? Do you have a play in this game? It's a crucial one for Rob Edwards' side.
Yeah, it looks like a very big game for them, especially now. I mean, Burnley have pulled themselves back into it, haven't they? They're only a point behind Luton, so it's becoming a battle for 2 spots from 3 teams. So, yeah, this looks like a very big game for Luton, possibly a last chance saloon. I mean, they've got a couple of, I guess you could call them kindish fixtures. They go to West Ham with nothing to play for. And then they host Fulham on the last day, again, with a team with nothing to play for. So it looks a decent schedule on paper, but yeah, their form right now, the way in which they're conceding goals, it's extremely worrying. And I wouldn't advise backing them at all. I know they're favourites here. I know Everton are safe. They've got nothing to play for themselves now, but I just can't trust Luton right now. They're conceding too many goals, but play.
That's it. It's just over 2.75 at minus 109. You know, both teams' scorers played in 9 of Luton Town's last 10 games, over 2.5 in 5 of 6. Like in Everton, although they really struggle to score goals away from home, their XG is decent enough. It's about 6 higher than their actual goal output. They've already played twice this season, both in the FA Cup and the league, finished 2-1 both times. If it finishes that way again this time around, then you at least get a half win. Any other plays this weekend across the board, Jake? I mean, I'm looking at it. I probably can justify making 8 plays in the 10 games, quite frankly.
We don't have time for 8 plays, only 10 minutes. Yeah, I was the same. I had 6 down. I'll mention one more quickly. Nottingham Forest away at Sheffield United. we spoke about Luton being in a bit of last chance saloon. It's not quite that for Forest, but this is a huge opportunity against the worst defensive team we've ever seen in the Premier League. Already relegated Sheffield United. They're conceding hatfuls of goals. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter who against. They are absolutely diabolical defensively. 51 goals shipped in 17 home games. Nottingham Forest, really good attacking display against Man City without putting the ball in the net. That's the only thing that they couldn't do. Create chances like that again, which they will be able to against Sheffield United. They should have plenty of joy. So, I was looking at maybe making a Forest play, but I can't be backing them at minus 147. That is too short. Instead, I'm going to take the over 3 because I think Sheffield United also contribute to the scoring. Minus 106. High scoring game, yes, please.
One for me. I'm going to call this the market correction game because Brighton have been diabolical. In their last 6, 3 losses, 3 draws. 2 goals scored, 13 conceded. Their last 2 home games failed to score a goal, but they were against Man City and Arsenal. Now they play Aston Villa, who are playing in the Conference League on Thursday. The best goalkeeper in the world, Emi Martinez, probably out for that one through injury. Tielemans is out as well. Their midfield really getting stretched. I'm going to make a Brighton play, draw no bet at plus 116. I think there's going to be a little bit of a return to form here. They're playing at home at the Amex. If De Zerbi can't galvanize this group now, I think it reflects poorly on him and his players, and they don't want to end the season that way. This fixture buildup is really going to test Aston Villa, and just the 0.61 XG against Chelsea last week. The second half wasn't great, was it? So I think that Brighton can keep things competitive here and maybe pull off a shock victory there. So that's it. A very busy match week 36. 2 weeks to go after this. Keep on tuning into EPL Insights. He's Jake. I'm Wheels. Hope you enjoyed it and enjoy the weekend in the Premier League.